Hi, Cryoger here. I want to talk about random dungeon tiles and descriptions today and how to get started using them. So the random dungeon tiles and descriptions are available on the Fantasy Grounds Forge. They're specifically made to aid in solo play, though being a geomorphs, you can use them in any other type of game as well. It costs a few dollars, and I just also wanted to remind you that once you do purchase them, you need to update Fantasy Grounds uh, to install and put them on your computer. All right, so once you got the tiles, I'm going to walk you through how to place the first few tiles and also how to open the module. So everything from scratch. So first you would open up the campaign that you're going to run your game in where you want to use the map. So the first thing you probably want to do is open the module. So we'll click the modules button in activation, and the name of this module starts with RD1, so we'll click that. Then we'll click load. Next we want to open the book. You can open the book from the modules book, or as well you can open it once the module's open, of course, from books. So once you got the books open, we're interested in how to generate a map and starting out. This will walk you through how to place your first tile step by step. Generally, you only place the first tile once per dungeon, so you might want to come back here and review this later. But first time I'm going to walk you right through it. So the first thing we want to do is we need to create an image for our map. So we'll go over to images. Then we want to add a new item, which will open a new image that we want to use for our random tiles. And I'll just go ahead and name this Random Dungeon 01. All right, so the first level of our dungeon. Now the nice thing about these books is that you can actually drag and drop the starting tile right into the image. So once we got the image in there, there's a few things we probably want to do. We want to first turn on the grid because this thing may or may not be on the grid. So we'll toggle grid visibility and we'll see that it is in fact off the grid. Now the grid's awfully bright, so we're going to click tint and bring up the color picker. And we're going to move the alpha channel down to right around 100, which seems to be a pretty good value. Next, we're going to move over to layers, and we're going to go ahead and center this tile on the grid. It's important to center the tiles on the grid because we have LOS here, and if you want your walls on the grid, then you need to get the tile on the grid. All right, so we put down the graphic, but one of the things that excites me most about this module is that we also have, courtesy of Lord in Trails, a set of room descriptions. And so if we scroll down a little bit further on the starting out, in step 7, we see we have a chamber description. For those who may not be familiar with, this is a story template. And if we click generate, it'll generate a random story entry for us. And then we can drag and drop this right onto the map. So this is a description for our first tile. And so you can see it's flooded with accidental slate. So it gives you a nice description. And I'll get back to this in a second. So that's pretty much all you need to do to the first tile. So once our bold and brave party has made it down into the dungeon, they're ready to explore. And so they can go north, south, east, or west. For demo purposes, I'm only going to go east, south, and west. So I'm going to roll a D3 on a 6 die, so they decided to go west. So now let's walk you through how you place down all the rest of them. If you go back into our book, you'll see that placing tiles, this walks you through how to do the next one. So generally there's 2 tables. There's early and normal exploration. There's links to all these tables down here in the book, and of course they're also in the tables folder right here. If you're going to play solo, you probably want to hot link the early and normal exploration tables so you can just generate the tiles quickly. What's the difference between the early exploration tables? These are the tables you should use right around the starting location. In the starting location, I put in a four-way, um, 4 openings, because we can take advantage of Fantasy Grounds' ability to expand in any direction and indeterminately as far as we need. So the early exploration table makes sure that there's no dead ends or stairs down to the next level on the first few tiles. Normally, I would suggest you do like 2 tiles, use early exploration for the first 2 tiles out from the center tile, the starting tile. All right, so let's go ahead and generate a tile. So when we click on this table, what it does is it tells us the general table we rolled. So this is an RD3, which means it's a three openings on the geomorph, and it gives us a specific tile. In this case, a room tile. Now it's very important with room tiles to orientate them in the right direction because they have doors. Let me walk you through, and we'll explore that a little bit more. So how do I get to my other tiles? Well, there's a couple ways. You could just open the assets and search on RD1. And once you're more familiar with the tiles, that might in fact be the better way to do it. But in the beginning, it might be a little bit easier if you were to use the books. And down at the bottom of the books, there's index of all tiles. And this will show you all the tiles in the module along with the story template entry that goes with it. So once you have this open, you probably want to pop it out so you don't have to use the full book, take up less space. And then you can hotkey this down here, and that way you can open and close the index of all tiles. Now from our role, we're looking for RD1-37. So these things are in order, so you can just roll right on down to 37. Here it is. So notice that the room is a left-right exit. This is why orientation is important, because we'll go ahead and drop it here, but the doors are all based on the entry points and the exits. So we're coming in this way, and so this is a left-right exit. So basically, you come in and you turn left. Now notice that this is tile placed the other way. You would come in and you would turn left, but you go north, while this way you're going south. The reason you want to keep track of this is that when you generate the room, it'll call out the door. So you have the entry door, which is going to be the door right here. Let me zoom in so you can actually see the door. There you go. It'd be much, if I had the LOS on, it'd be easier. See, there's the doors. So we want to know which door is the entry, because sometimes these doors may be locked. See, like this door is locked, the right exit door. And so the way I usually depict the entry is I put the map pin next to it, right? Because that way I know I came in. Now the first few tiles, it isn't going to matter much because you're almost always going to be coming from the center. But obviously if I were to circle around, then it might not be obvious which the entry door is, especially if you go in and out of the dungeon a few times. So that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. I'll see you in the next.